Hello viewers, this is Manish Avasthi. Today we are going to discuss a very important and necessary subject in management, that is organizational behavior. Organizational behavior is a very important and necessary subject in management because it discuss about human behavior. And in my opinion, organizational behavior is the study of how people act or behave within the organization. And we are having several resources in the organization, but the most crucial and the most important resource in the organization is human. Because if all other resources, there are four M's. There are four M's in the organization, or you can say four M's of management. First one is man, the most important. Second one is machine, and third one is material, and the fourth one is money. So we are having, these are the four M's of management, or you can say organization. So first one, the most important, the most crucial is man. If we are having machines very well, we are having great technology, great machines in our organization, we are having good material, raw material is of best quality, and we are having good capital also to run the organization, even then we cannot gain, or we cannot reach to our objectives, we cannot attain our goals. But if we are having good man, or you can say we are having trained people, expert people, they can help us to attain our objectives. So man becomes the most important resource of the organization. That is why it becomes very important to understand their behavior. But we are talking about organizational behavior, so we will talk about the human behavior within the periphery of organization. Okay, so let's discuss definition of management first, so that we can go to the deeper insights or definition, detailed discussion of the organizational behavior. So the most accepted definition of management is the art of getting things done through, this is the most important thing, that is people. If the people are not doing their work perfectly, correctly, then the management or organization can never achieve its goals, which are mission, vision, and objectives. So whatever things are being done, that these will be done through people, and this definition is given by Mary Parker Follett. Okay, so let us discuss the most important principle of management, which is derived from F.W. Taylor's theory, scientific management. Actually, so the principle is optimum utilization of resources, and the most important resource is human being, as we discussed earlier. So if we think that we can utilize the resources at their maximum level, which is not possible. Why it is not possible? Because every resource has its limit. Like we are going to use the machine, if we are that machine's capacity is for 24 hours, it can run continuously for 24 hours or 36 hours. If we run more than that, then it will be heated and its efficiency will be reduced. In the same way, human being is also having its capacity. Suppose, that is why the shifts are being made, 8-hour shift. Overtime, if we want to opt overtime, then 4 hours overtime. More than 12 hours, it is not allowed to use as a labor or as a human being, because then the deficiency comes. And we want to use the resource at their optimum level. If we increase the level, then what will happen? Their efficiency, their effectivity will be reduced, and it will be a hurdle to achieve the targets of the organization. That is why it is very important to use the resources, especially human being, at their optimum level, not the maximum level. What is optimum level? It is the mid, somewhere near to maximum, but not maximum. Definitely up to minimum, but near to maximum, not maximum, because maximum the things will be spoiled. Okay, so now let's discuss the definition of organizational behavior. This is the most accepted definition of organizational behavior given by Keith Davis and John Newstrom. So what is the definition? Let us discuss it. Organizational behavior is the study and application of knowledge about how people, because we are discussing about people only, so about how people as individuals and as groups act within the organization. So it is, in the definition, it is very clear that it is the study, and it is not the discipline, it is not the subject. It takes knowledge from various fields of management, you can say, and various subjects also, like sociology, political science, history, and anthropology, psychology. So there are several subjects from which researches are already being done, and we take knowledge from those subjects and prepare proper study, and we use that study, we apply that study for whom, and knowledge about people, because we are discussing about human behavior. So about people, how they act as individuals and as groups. So let us discuss this definition in detail. So now we will break down the definition into three parts. Let us discuss the first part first, that is the study and application of knowledge. Okay, so the first part of definition is the study and application of knowledge. So there are two things, the study and the knowledge. So the study is theory, this is the science part of the definition, that is that these are the formal rules how the behavior of individuals will be monitored. Okay, so what are the rules, what are the science part of this? Okay, what are the rules? So first thing, let us take example for it. Suppose the company is announcing bonus for all the employees, but employee A motivates from the bonus, but the second employee B, demotivates or feel nervous about the bonus because he has to work hard for attaining that bonus. Okay, so that may be different. Okay, and sometimes if somebody gets bonus, suppose employee A is getting bonus, B may feel jealous of it. So this is the problem in human behavior at individual level. So this is the part of study. Then that is the second part is application. Knowing the things is not the solution. We have to use that knowledge we have to apply that knowledge into the organizations. Suppose there is an employee that who is taking absenteeism regularly. Okay, he is not coming to office regularly. Sometimes he comes, sometimes he doesn't come. So what is the reason? So managers has to find out that whether he is not feeling related to the job, or he is having some another concerns. So let's find out the solution of it and then apply it. If the worker is feeling a stressful job, so let us help him by giving some training. If he feels that he is unskilled or he is not feeling comfortable within the organization in coming to the organization, so manager should help them and train him properly so that he can feel comfortable. Okay, now let's come to the second breakdown of the definition, that is how people as individuals and as groups. Okay, so let us discuss the people as individuals, because the people will be working in the organization as individuals also and as groups also. So suppose individual performance will be also monitored, and if you are working in a team, like you are working in the sales team, marketing team, production team, or any other team, IT team, so your performance will be monitored at both the levels, individual level and group level. So first of all, discuss with the individuals as humans as individuals. So individuals, there are psychological characteristics of the people. Suppose there is a psychology, okay, of the person, personality of the person, attitude of the person, perception of the person. So he may feel motivated due to his attitude or demotivated according to his attitude. He may feel motivated, concerned about the job, related with the job with his perception, or he may not feel related with the job. So according to individual temperament, sentiments, he may feel related or unrelated, motivated or demotivated according to these individual things, not about the group. We are not talking about the group, but at individual level, he may feel motivated for the job or he may feel demotivated for the job. It is the job of the manager to observe these things properly, why the particular person is feeling motivated or why the person is not feeling motivated. So let us have a case study of it as individuals and as groups. So first discuss with the groups also. So second part is as groups. it is called meso level, means it is between somewhere between to the micro and macro level. It is not that much detailed also. It means we are talking about the small groups like marketing team, particular team under a team leader. So we are talking about that. So let us take the example of this scenario, individual and group level. So there was an employee, Ravi, in an organization. He was performing tremendously good. Means he was achieving the targets and doing more than the targets also. So he was the star performer in that particular organization. He was in sales team. But when he was deployed in a group, he was working in a team. So he was not feeling comfortable because now there was restrictions of the team, the rules, regulations, the guidelines of the team was deployed on him or applied on him. So he was not comfortable in it, and he was not sharing his secrets with the team. So that is why his performance got down, and feel the other members were also not related with him, because at this happened because he was not feeling comfortable. His recognition was collapsed. He was now known as a team member, not as an individual. So if somebody has studied both the level, the manager has studied both the level, then he will feel that the Ravi is not fit for the group level, but he is fit for individual level. Okay, so he will take that action. But if somebody has studied only individual level, then he will applaud him, give him reward, but he will not take corrective actions. Okay, so this is the benefit of the studying organizational behavior, because you will know that who is capable of working individually and who is capable of working in a group. Okay. Okay, so now we will discuss the third part of the definition, that is act within the organization. First one is context matters. Okay, so everyone behaves according to the context. Suppose we talk about the tech startup. Suppose there is a one company that is tech startup. Okay, so there will be some technicians, okay, some developers also. There may be, as the company's IT, then there will be some developers. So they may work wild. Some creativity will be there. Okay, they will use their creativity. They will work widely, enthusiastically to create something new. But if we take example of the bank, so that is purely formal organization. There will be rules, will be rigid, strict. So according to the context, people have to behave according to the context, according to the organization. If the organization will change, the context will also be changed, and the behavior will also be changed. The requirement of the behavior will also be changed. So this is about the context. Now we'll talk about the system. The human behavior cannot perform in a vacuum. Okay, every organization is having its rules, regulations, its policies. According to that, human have to perform their duties according to that periphery. That periphery is very important. According to that periphery, suppose there is a rule of absenteeism, login time, overtime, salary time, okay, salary structure, everything is a rule. Okay, according to rule, bonus incentives will be given according to the rule. So according to, this is the system. So every individual has to follow the system. According to system, they have to act or behave. So this is the overall description of the definition, that in an organization, human being is the most important resource, and if we are able to manage that human resource, the organization will definitely achieve its targets, its goals, and the long-term goals are mission and vision. Mission and vision only can be accomplished, only can be attained if the people are working according to the rules and regulations, according to the periphery of the organization, and the managers should understand their employees, why they are feel motivated and why they are feeling unmotivated or demotivated. Thank you for the day. Thank you so much.